Hey, I'm Scott Allen Miller. This is Sheep Guarding Llama. It is the 8th of November, 2020. It's Sunday, and as you can tell, I'm in the car. I am driving from Dallas to Spring, Texas, which is where our storage unit is, and we have spent the entire morning. It's currently about 3 o'clock that I'm recording this, and I hope that the audio is good. I've got the media kit on the phone, which does a pretty good job on the phone. This would be a GoPro. Normally does a pretty good job, so I'm hoping that that will do well. I've just left going southbound on Interstate 45 at the Dallas Intermodal Union Pacific train yards, where I stopped to pick up a Carl's Jr. Beyond Famous Star burger with cheese, which is awesome. They're so delicious. So anyway, we did just the tiniest bit of packing yesterday, and then got up this morning and spent the entire day until about 1:30 packing the minivan, as you can kind of see behind me. And I think we did a really good job today of getting seriously packing it without going, crazy, because it'll get really inefficient if you're trying to like shove things in every little nook and cranny. But we're going to be making a number of trips down to our storage unit over time. So this is the first dedicated trip. So we did a trip last week, which I already talked about on the video, and did a very small trip because we had dogs and kids, and Dominica was with me, and we could only fit a very small amount, but it was enough to go sign up for the storage unit, figure out how to get in, get the keys and all that stuff. So that we took care of. Now I have just me in the car. Even the passenger seat is right to the limit so that I can still see the rear view. That's it. That's every single thing is bit of space is taken. We've got the under trunk, as Dominica calls it, the undercarriage space is full of Luciana's stuffed animals, and everything's in vacuum seal bags. So we've got all the air taken out of everything as much as we can. Lots of clothes in super tight bags. I can't hand any up to show, but I've got sitting right here. And so the under part of the car is full. And then the entire back, we put all the seats down, so that's quite a bit of storage back there. It's the full-size truck bed size, all inside the minivan, filled, not to the ceiling, but pretty darn high. I mean, this is not very far between ceiling and the top of these boxes. And so I am driving this load down to Spring, gonna unload it there and just turn around to come right back. It's going to take a while. It's going to be at least 8 hours down and back, but wow, did it make a difference in the house. It's not just the amount that we put in here. Obviously, in the process of loading up the van, a lot of stuff, obviously we would pull out some bins, and I think the record one, we pulled out one bin and consolidated 3 other bins into it. So we collapsed 3 bins to nothing. The 4th bin, which held everything from the first 3, is here in the van. So wow, you really notice quickly when you start taking that amount of stuff out of the house. The garage we can move around in now. It's nice, and it got all of us really in the mood to be packing again and getting things shifted around, which I think is going to happen really quickly, because we notice, now it's like, ooh, can I keep just the things I need for the next few weeks and get everything else out of the house? This is great. It feels good. You can move around the house. You can get to, drawers and shelves and stuff that were blocked previously. It's great. Just from this first load, and we'll do another 3 or 4 probably before Thanksgiving, and the house is just going to be so empty at that point. And there's certain things, it just takes a lot of loads. Like this one, I've got Dominica's recliner in it, which I don't know if you can see it. It's right about here. It's a leather recliner that we bought with money from our wedding presents, and it has been our high quality furniture ever since then. We got 2 units. We got that one, which is a recliner, and then I got what you typically call a moon chair. It's like a low seating thing that you kind of sink into, and both of them have ottomans, and both ottomans are in here in the recliner. Now my chair of the pair, Liesel commandeered a long time ago, and she sleeps in that chair, which is weird. I have no idea why she does that, but she decided that that's the chair she liked long ago, and so she stole it, put it in her bedroom, and she doesn't like sleeping on a bed really, so she sleeps in that chair every night, and Luciana sleeps in the bed. But Luciana doesn't sleep in the bed like a normal person. She more of just grabs stuffed animals and a blanket and like makes a space somewhere. But the bed is more like a desk that you can lay on for them. It's all very strange how they sleep outside the box, which they get from me. I'm very much a why do people sleep in beds a certain way person. You know, one of the things that people do is like, oh, I have to have my head against a wall, my feet towards a door. There's like all this stuff that you're supposed to do to make you sleep well. I'm the opposite. I want my head as close to an open window as possible. If not, I want it in the middle of the room where there's the most airflow. I don't like having my head up against a wall because it's like claustrophobic. Not that I'm a big claustrophobic person, but like, why would I want my head against the wall? It doesn't make any sense to me. I want my head with all the free space and the sound and the you know, connection to the environment. My feet don't care if they're up against the wall. That's fine. I like that much better. So when Dominica's not around for a long period of time, I will swap and sleep upside down or diagonal. Something that, you know, someone will be like, you can't sleep that way. So the kids must get it from me that they don't think inside the box when looking to sleep. They just figure out what's comfortable and fall asleep wherever they are. Anyway, so today is pretty much nothing but a packing and driving day. I did do a time warp. I hope it turns out. I have the GoPro mounted looking out the windshield. Now, of course, I did it leaving the house, so the windshield is pretty dirty, and I just stuck it on time warp and turned it on right as I left my neighborhood, turning onto Old Mill, and ran it all the way down to the intermodal, where I pulled into the Love's Travel Center and got some Carl's Jr. to eat, which only gave me about 90 seconds of video on the time warp, so we'll see what that looks like. But it should be interesting, because drive down the George Bush to Interstate 35 to 30 to 45 to the south side of Dallas, pretty much across the entire city. You can see downtown, but the windscreen in the car, super dirty. As soon as I stopped and turned that off, I just cleaned it because I was at the truck stop. Now it is really clean and looks great, and I'm pointing the camera at me where it doesn't matter. But it is a gorgeous day today. A little bit of clouds. We had a drizzle this morning, but very light. Just a little bit chilly. However, the car is saying it's 79 outside right now, so it has warmed up. It is currently 3. I'll probably get to Spring around 6. It'll take me probably about 30 minutes to unload the car, and then I'll get home probably a little bit before 11. I will stop at Carl's Jr. on the way home again and get another Beyond Famous Star, because it is so uncommon for us to be able to get them, and there's so few Carl's Jr.'s left. We are definitely going to support that one as much as we can. And that is Sunday. There's really nothing else to say. This is the first video that I'm doing in the car. I'm going to, other than the time warp, I'm going to try to do a few more. So if you see a bunch in the car with me in this same outfit, in the same pile of crap, this is me catching up, because this week has been very busy for work, and there just hasn't been a lot of time to get to myself to catch up on videos. And once I fall behind, I find it really hard to catch up. And so it tends to be, oh, I need to do that, then it becomes procrastinating, and then I get behind and I can't. There's always something, and this week there was some that I already had done that needed to be uploaded, but I wasn't sure where they were and what needed to be done to get them uploaded. And then, so I wait on it because I'm not sure what to do next, and then it just spirals, right, and I have to get over that. So I've had quite a few recorded that I started uploading this morning. I know, like October 23rd I just uploaded, and the 24th I have to edit because of the way I filmed it, and the editor is not running on my desktop anymore, which is not a big deal because I don't use my desktop for that, but it means I have to grab another machine now, and I don't have one sitting ready, so now I've got to get another computer, set that up. So that's a pain, but I'm gonna get that. So the 24th will get uploaded, and then like the 28th, 9th, 30th, 31st, 1st, and 2nd, I think we're all done. And I got those all uploaded this morning, and now I'm doing the 8th, and now I've got to go back to the 3rd and catch up. So I'll try to do that from the car so that I can plug in the GoPro. Oh, and the thing that triggered all of this, which I mentioned a while ago, is that something went wrong with my GoPro account, and I couldn't upload. I could upload, but I couldn't manage my media once it uploaded. It took a couple days. GoPro support totally sorted me out, and they were great, and I really like working with them. So very happy about that. No big deal. But it was just enough that it triggered me to not keep up with what I had made, and then I fell behind, and then I couldn't track it because I use my GoPro to track what I've done. So that left me just discombobulated, just that tiny enough bit that I didn't manage to make the other episodes. So this exciting week of the elections, I will be catching up on in just a second. In other news of the packing, pretty much today's a packing day, Luciana and Liesel got to see for the first time ever. So think about this, especially with Liesel, who's about to turn 12. Neither of them were aware that I had an electric bass guitar in the house, and it's been in my office for as many years as I can remember, probably 3 or 4. I don't know where it was before that, but in my office has been this beautiful Mexican-made, which is the high-end one, or one of the pretty high-end ones, genuine Fender J-Bass that I probably got around 1991. That would be my guess. Maybe 92, somewhere in there. I got it for jazz band in high school because I was a guitar player and they didn't have guitar for anything in high school, but they did use potentially bass for jazz band. So I was like, hey, I'll learn bass for that. And so my parents bought me a bass, and it's the only thing I ever played it for was jazz band. I found I was never very good on bass, just didn't feel it, right? And I'm also not a jazz guitarist, so that exacerbated it. So it's a beautiful, beautiful bass, and Valentina has expressed some interest in it, but for her to have it, we have to get it all the way to Nicaragua, which is the whole point of getting rid of it, is to not have to take it there. Looking at you, Valentina. So I'm not sure what's going on, but Liesel expressed an interest in it. I pulled it out, and it's beautiful. It's in perfect condition, but the strings have given out, as you can imagine, for strings that are a full 30 years old, or just about to turn 30 years old. So it needs to be restrung, but other than that, it is in absolutely mint condition. So she may check that out. I am at a point now where I have moved my video editing off of my desktop, which means I believe I'm actually ready to phase out my main desktop and switch to working from a Raspberry Pi, which I already have, is already set up. And I'm going to give that a try and see if I can use that as my main desktop, because that's the one we're going to travel with, and we'll see how it is. If that works, then my desktop is going to go into storage for the indefinite future, in the hopes that it eventually makes it to Nicaragua and can go to the team. Also, I have a matching backup desktop that is currently in Domenica's office because Kat was using it to work from there. It's fully set up and good to go, but we never use it. So there's no reason for it to be set up. Both of them together, I think, are going to be packed up and moved to the storage unit, because there's just no reason to keep them and all the monitors in the house. It's time to trim all of that fat and go down to just the stuff we're going to travel with, I guess, which is kind of scary. I mean, we can always go to the storage unit and get it back out, right? So it's not really a big deal, but it's time to kind of start testing the waters of can we really trim all that stuff and not have access to it readily, and will that be good enough for us? So that's probably happening in the next trip. At least one of the desktops is going to go. We will see about my main one. I might be a little bit too attached to it to do that quite yet, but pretty close, very close. We're already gathering up all the cables and stuff, so there's like no spare cables in the house. All kinds of things are starting to disappear. I'm hoping a bunch of the desks and office equipment can come down in the next load, because that will really get things out of the way. And those things are going into deep storage. We don't need them until a shipping container goes to Nicaragua for sure, so they can just be buried in. On my trip, I am using Audible and listening to Sue Grafton's V is for Vengeance, of the ABC Murder series by Sue Grafton, which she did not get to finish before she died, which is incredibly sad, and one of my favorite murder mystery series, all set in the early 1980s in California, which is just super cool. The whole series is just a lot of fun. I really like it. I imagine someone who was not growing up in the 1980s would find it a lot more boring. It's kind of like watching Stranger Things. Those of us from the 80s are like, oh my gosh, every single thing's so nostalgic. And I'm kind of like that with the Sue Grafton novels. That's my Sunday. I will talk to everyone after I am back in Dallas.